Okay, Walter Wofford here, kicking off a session about the 10 apps or productivity tools that I use in my short-term rental business here in Jackson. I've got 6 properties up and running, and I'll have 3 more up and running in January. So these things are necessary for me to function. I couldn't function without any one of these, and I use them all. So let me just start with this. I use ChatGPT to pull up a lot of the text for this, and I use Notebook LM, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. When we get to this, to generate these audio podcasts, you see those. So it's kind of tricky setting them up, isn't it, William? You can pipe in there. William's just gone through setting it up. You've got what, 4 relay accounts so far?
Yes. It is tricky, but it's good. I'm liking it so far.
Good. So here are the ones we're going to talk about today. Profit First System. That's a book that was written back in 2017, and you'll see that I recommend that you get it and read it. RelayFi is a fintech. It's a internet bank, basically. Relay is the technology that allows you to implement the Profit First system, and it's been out about a year. And so far, they've got 28,000 accounts in a year. That's a bunch of people using it, and they're improving it all the time. Hospitable, game changer for me. That's a channel manager. It's the mothership over Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, and other channels. StayFi is a device that you hook up into your router. And so the idea is you want to brand your own name. What you're doing right now is branding Airbnb, not branding yourself. And if you look at how much they charge you monthly, I pay Airbnb somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 a month. So what I want to do is get the bookings without having to pay them. Okay, this is what will help, and I'll go in detail. Security cameras, I'm going to show you what I got. SpeakPipe, they'll be good. I'll go over that. Price Labs is for the pricing, dynamic pricing, and then the locks. The real game changer that I started 3 weeks ago was Turno, and that's for finding and managing cleaners, and and paying too. So it's perfect. It's perfect for. I don't know how people function without this, but they don't function very well. And what prompted me to get Turno was that we had a couple of missed things by the cleaners, and I said I got to do something about this. And so the bonus tool, Notebook LM, will go over that. So I just put out some choke points in my world that these solutions we're going to address for the accounting and payments. Payments, ACH. I made an ACH payment this morning. No, it costs nothing. So, see, if you implement this RelayFi, you won't need a bookkeeper. William, is that a fair statement? What you know?
Yeah, I would say that's true. Once you get it all set up, it can like you say, not micromanage, granulize your costs or certain things. I would say so, absolutely. In this business, you could do that with Relay.
And time management. So Turno is for cleaner recruitment, and that's always a problem. That's a revolving door in this business. It seems to be. Booking management, and Hospitable does that very well. A lot of automations. Building your brand, choke point. If you don't have a brand to build, you're just building Airbnbs or VRBO. And the nightly rate, you just like we investors cannot pick a price that a house should sell for or rent for. These dynamic pricing, they look at the events that are going on at certain times and jack the prices for you. All right, so this is a question I wanted to ask you guys. If you've here in Jackson, what's the Amazon effect that you've seen here? Now, I know some of you are not from around here, but Amazon has in the process of building 2 data centers, massive data centers that brought in a bunch of contractors that need housing. And the third one is going to happen somewhere around in South Jackson. So there's 3 of them.
In what part of South Jackson?
It's going to be along Highway 18 towards Raymond.
Oh, okay.
That's the scuttlebutt. But
Okay.
the Amazon effect, it just what happens. These workers get paid $1,500 a month for housing and $1,500 for food, and $1,500 a month is not enough to get the housing, so they go to Airbnbs. And just to kind of give you an idea, the I got a booking yesterday that's for 117 days, and they're contractors out there at the Amazon plant for my big house on the water at 450 a night for 117. Do the math on that. Stevie Z, how
That's a
much
good
is that?
booking.
More, please.
Yeah. That's a
Fifty-two
good one.
thousand dollars.
That's a
Fifty-two
good
thousand
one.
dollars. And so what's happening? These workers are sucking up the Airbnbs, and so mine seem to be more valuable. And they do it because the contractors that have to, if they're the type of contractors that have to pay for the lodging by paying me 450 for something that would accommodate 14 people. See how efficient that is from a cost standpoint? Okay, so y'all jump in whenever you got something to say. I got this recommended to me recently, and it's really a good book. Unreasonable Hospitality, giving people more than they expect, and so that's what I want to do. I want to have that attitude, and so it's a story about a restaurateur, and putting in systems. And so if you want to do some more reading, that's it. So my takeaway is I need specific systems to institutionalize my business, my STR business, graduating from a mom and pop. So you got one or two, you're a mom and pop, right? But the reason that, and as he pointed out, a restaurant company that has 500 stores has systems in place. And that's what I want to have, is systems in place for my business. Stevie Z, you would agree with that, wouldn't you?
All day, every day.
All right, so now here's my I'm no longer interested in an app that does everything. I need an app that integrates specialized purpose-built apps for the STR business. And so the middle of this graphic is Relay. This would not work as well as it does without Relay and Profit First. So we're going to go over those. All right, so Profit First, you can read it. You can go ask ChatGPT to give you an executive summary, or I'll give that to you later on. But the idea here is your business is supposed to produce you a profit, the owner. And most people have an operating account they drop the money into and hope and pray that they got money in there to pay the bills when they're due. Is that amen? About everybody else is operating like that? Yes?
Yep.
Meyer? Yes. Everybody does. But this flips the script because it makes you decide how much profit your business wants to produce for you. And so the short-term rental business, I want 30% of every dollar that comes in to go into my profit account. That's a percentage I picked. Everybody gets to pick their own. And so it's sales minus profit equal expenses, not sales minus expenses equal profit. So it forces you to look hard at your profitability. So that's an easy read, came out in 2017. It prioritizes profitability and promotes financial discipline, and it does. And if you don't have money in that account, you're not going to be able to ACH it or write a check if you don't have money in the account. So it helps if you are writing checks in anticipation of money coming in. And this law, Parkinson's law, doesn't if you got a bunch of money in your account, don't you spend more money?
Yes.
What the answer is yes. And so what they do is they break it up into line items, and each dollar that comes in goes to a line item and has a separate account. All right. So in order to implement that, Relay is a banking platform, and it was designed for the profit first methodology. For each account you open up, and by the way, they're all free. You get 20 sub accounts, and those sub accounts are like line items on your accounting. For a short term rental, you might have mortgage payment, Wi Fi, electricity, gas, water. And so when you separate the money into these accounts from the money that comes in, you have money sitting in the right account for when the bill is due. And so at the end of the year, you just pull a statement for that Wi-Fi account, and you know exactly how much money you spent that for your tax preparation. So the 20 free checking accounts, they also, for those 23, give you up to 50 free debit cards, virtual and physical, if you need them. I don't need that many, but it automates money transfers between allocating revenue and pre-selected percentages. So what they're talking about, they have auto transfer rules that you decide how much money of every dollar goes into each of your 20 sub accounts. And as soon as it hits that, it spreads it across all those accounts. And so
Can you Yeah, I'm sorry, Walter. Can you auto transfer a percentage of what's money sitting in the income account?
that's what it is, a percentage. So if you got $100 Wi-Fi bill and your income is 10,000 for that property, for you, that'd be 1%.
Mhm.
And you can move those percentages very easily, and you will move them. So that's one of the great things about it is one of the 20 accounts is your owner account. So every dollar that goes in there, then it kicks it over to my owner account. And so these are business accounts. I also have a personal account that has I've got 20 accounts for my own personal that would be different than some of the business accounts. Like you have life insurance and you might have other car payments and stuff that you wouldn't necessarily have as a business. So here's one so when I told Walt I would manage his account, so I just pulled this up. He's only got 9 accounts. That's all that we've set up so far, but he can have up to 20. And so it gives you a financial snapshot right there, then and there, where they are. And you can't do that with your current accounting. Steve, can you do that with your current accounting system?
Barely. If I put it in the accounting system, which is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And reconcile that every month.
So this does it for you. And so here's just an example. Walter, you on the line, you can comment if you want to.
Yeah,
So, do you have any comments you want to, from your standpoint of me? So we've been doing this 2 or 3 months, right? And Walt hadn't had to be involved at all. I told him I would manage it on one condition, that you go open up a relay account, which you did. And so he can pull that up at any time and see exactly where he is. So I'm not giving him financial reports. He's got to go get them. And all he has to do is log on to his account. Now, for the cards, they have up to 50 cards. And so, for example, Turtle Creek virtual water card, that's for paying the water bill. And so that card is tied to the water account up here. Let's see where it is. I can't read that. It's up there somewhere. And so what he does is he gives that card to set up an auto payment, which you've done with the water company. Have you done that, Walt?
yes.
All right. So
Now, why would you need a card to do that? Why not just give it a routing number and account number?
because they don't allow it. Number one, that water system doesn't. It's not set up for that.
Okay.
But a card works just fine, and there's no fees for it. Isn't that cool? Are there any questions about that?
I have a
So
question.
Walter, will they issue physical cards that you could give to
Yeah.
people buying materials?
So I'll tell you. So down here, let's see if we can see that. Do you see cleaners? Let's see. I can't even read that. But yeah, you can have up to 50 cards. They can be virtual or physical. And so the cleaners, for example, they have a card that's got their name, the cleaner's name on it, and property address. And so when they do a job, let's say it's 125 bucks, I move 125 bucks over to the cleaner's account up here at the top, and then they go to any one of the 83 all-point network ATMs in town. And they're in all the Krogers, they're in all the CVS and Walgreens and the Kangaroos, and the system doesn't have any fees associated. So they go next door to the Kroger, when they go to the Kroger, they put the card in and they can get out $300 at a time. So if I paid them $1,000, they'd have to run it 4 times.
But
So
they
they
can
can't
use that
get-
like a credit card.
It's a debit card. They can use it any way that anybody takes debit cards.
Walter,
If there's money in it.
can you set the spending limits on each
Yeah,
of the cards?
Sure. You can set the
Okay.
spending limit. Now, let me tell you something that's really cool they just implemented. One of the settings, if you see the settings over here, down here, if you hit the settings, it has how you want your receipt management to work. And so I want it anytime anybody uses a card, it sends them an email and says, pull out your app, take a picture of the receipt, and it uploads it and stores it in the system. How about that, Steve, for your box of receipts you rifle through at the end of the year?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's about 3 foot high.
I say that you don't even need that anymore. You would not need that whatsoever. Every time you use a card, now every time you transfer money with the account, it doesn't do that. All right, any other questions about that?
Do you have a separate account for each Airbnb for all these separate
Yeah, so
breakdowns
each
for you
account
to-
has up to 20 sub-accounts, and for each of my Airbnbs, I have a separate account. And
So you have a separate Wi-Fi for that Airbnb?
Yeah,
Wi-Fi.
very granular. You're right. And so, hey, this is Steve. Would be very good for you when you tackle a new project. Now,
Yes.
remember, it's free to set these accounts up. And so you could have 20 sub-accounts for each of your line items that you think you're going to spend on. You could have a card given to whoever's going to be spending it. Each time you do a project, it's fully transparent as to what you're spending money on.
So if you gave somebody a debit card, they have their own, it's a sub account in Relay, and there needs to be enough money in that account for when they go buy something that they can pay for it, or can you set it up
Yeah.
to automatically draw it from?
No, it doesn't automatically. No, you, the account holder, got to move money in there. You
So if
can
I got a subcontractor and I give him a card and I say buy paint materials, I better throw whatever I think he's going to spend in that spending account before he goes to the merchant, or it'll get declined.
It'll get declined, and it sends you a notice immediately they got declined, instantaneously. So you
So
can.
I could immediately go transfer those funds
That's
real
exactly
time.
right. It's click. You're gonna like it, Steve. You're gonna nerd out over this.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We got more. All right. So to implement them, I mean, it's really easy. What you want to do is you open up a sole proprietorship first, and you use that as your personal account. So it gets your information in there. That takes about a day. And Maher is my dedicated account manager. You just send this information to him, copy front and back of your driver's license. He'll set it up. Now, let me tell you guys, in case you if you want to expand this, I went through the training in this and became a Relay partner. And the reason is I wanted to know everything about it, which I did. I think I got it all. And they pay me a small fee for every account I cause to be opened. And if you guys think that you want to do that, I'll set you up with Maher and you can do it too. But it doesn't cost you anything for you to set it up with me, because I'm going to help you set up your accounts. See, that's one thing nobody else will do. William, did I not do that with you?
Yes, you do. You did, and I've got more questions too.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. You're going to always have more questions. And I send Maher at least 5 emails a week with questions.
Oh,
So it doesn't ever end. So once you set up your sole proprietorship, which will act as your personal, then you set up your business. Now, Steve, think about the last time you opened a business account. This is what you do. You email the information to Maher. You screen capture the Secretary of State's website showing the name of the LLC and who owns it and that it's in good standing. Can you do that?
Yes.
All right. Can you send a copy of your EIN?
Yes.
That's it. It'll be opened the same day if you have previously opened a personal account.
So you bypass
for
the
your
annual
operate?
exam?
Did they ask for your operating agreement?
Nope.
Can you do that with a trust? Yes. Now,
So you
one
can do,
thing,
Oh, wait, the trust doesn't have any state issued anything. So
no, but
trust is just has an EIN.
they'll just set it up as a DBA for you personally. That's how they'll do it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. See, there's no connection. I go back to Walt's. Walt's ownership in that property is not the same as his LLC that has the money. You don't have to be connected with ownership and money. And let me tell you something else, Steve. This is particularly good for you. I know because you and I have had this discussion. All right, they make the check out to the name of your land trust, and your land
yeah,
trust have an account, right?
right.
So each account can have up to 5 aliases, and you just uh, send Maher. So, for example, in your main let's say your next property that you do, you own it in a land trust, right?
Always.
And then somebody's going to sell it, and the attorney may play hardball and make you take the check in the name of the trust. So you just email Maher and get the name of the trust as an alias. You pull out your phone, take a picture of it front and back, and it gets deposited.
Nice.
Made out to not the not the name of the account. Pretty
I
cool.
love that.
That's great. I better get that done before they take that away.
Can
They're
they
not gonna
take
take-
incoming? Can you do incoming and outgoing wire transfers?
Yeah, you can, and you can, and I do them all the time. But mostly, what they're encouraging ACH, and you can do mostly you do an ACH, really. And
There's
so,
certain cases where you'd have no choice.
yeah, but you can do that. So once you've got those two accounts set up, then I'm going to schedule a 45-minute Zoom. Well, William, it took longer than that, didn't it? But this is what we're going
Yeah.
to cover: how Relay makes money, setting up your sub accounts for your personal and business, set up debit cards, inviting team members, depositing from external banks, creating new payees, benefits of Relay Pro. That's an upsell, $30 a month, but it allows you to do same day ACHs, and I do that every single day.
But
Probably
$30 a month per account?
per account, but you only need one because you can move your money from one account. Think about it this way: you need one account that's just going to be a flow through account, an escrow account.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you need that feature, you may not even need that. So auto transfer rules, and then how you double check it with the calendar. So there's a recording. You can go look at that if you want to dig into it. And then so I'm done with that. Let's go on to hospitable. Any other questions about Relay?
Just funding it. But I'll do a side question with you, Walter. I need to figure out how to get the funds into the Relay account from the
I can
funder.
tell you how to do it. It asks you to set up an external. You want to suck money out of an external account.
I understand that one, but I don't want Matt sucking out an account that is not his.
Yeah, well, you control it. You control it. Any other questions about this, guys?
So is Relay a real bank? Is it FDIC insured?
Yes.
Is it so it's just exactly like any other bank I would go to, except it has these features. Is that accurate?
There's one branch, and it's in somewhere in Tennessee. It's called Thread Bank, and they're set up to do this. This is the name of this fintech. Fintech it's just like a supercharged PayPal is what it is, without the fees. You've
How do
never
they make their money?
All right, good question. So they make money off the float each month. They sweep each night. They sweep the accounts, but they also make money off a percentage off every transaction that the debit card is used.
Oh, they're making the 2.5% or
They're
whatever.
making some fee, and they get that money from the Thread Bank, not you.
So their fees are more competitive than probably most of your local business banks.
There are no fees.
Like I said,
Unless you do the $30.
Yeah.
Is that per business or is that?
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't need, the only real benefit is same day ACH. If you can ACH it next day, you don't need a pro account.
Okay.
So sometimes I'm in a hurry. Walt, you got any questions about any of this? All right, he's probably off doing something else. So we're going to go on to hospitable. Now, when I took back my property management in May of last year, I had to give it up while I was sick, but I got well and I made one call to somebody I respected and said, tell me which one to use. And they said this, hospitable. And so much had changed since I had been out of the management business in the year in terms of AI. Oh my gosh, they made so many improvements. And hospitable is the mothership over Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, and some other ones. So you make all your changes in hospitable. When Airbnb guest sends you a message, you get notified in hospitable and you answer it in hospitable and it spits it back out from Airbnb. Got it? The time consuming thing, I was paying $300 a month for a Filipino VA to do my messaging. When I learned about hospitable, they do 90% of all the messaging. And they give you templates to do this. For example, when somebody makes a booking, they automatically get a thank you. I don't do that. It's set up. It just happens. Reviews are set up, and basically everybody gets a good review except the ones I flag as a bad review. And so I got to pull it out, and that happens from time to time. Multi-calendar sync, that's very important. So this is something you've got to have even if you just got one property. All right, so automated messages. I'll give you an example. They use AI. So I got a message the other day from somebody said, we're going to this event at this address. How far is the house from that? Because Airbnb doesn't tell you the address. And so the AI answered it. It's 8.2 miles. And then when I can pull it up, I can send what the AI message said, or I can write my own. But it's basically most of the time I just click AI. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Well, the AI is like ChatGPT.
Yeah, well, that answers the question.
Yeah.
Automates task management. They have a dynamic pricing integration with Price Labs and direct booking. So I've got my own website. Free. It's with this. And this costs about $100 a month for these properties. Total.
Oh, really? That's cheap.
All right, so look at the dates on this. This is this week's calendar. So the greens Airbnb, the reds are direct bookings. So that's what ideally you'd like to have nothing but red because there's no fees associated with that. But the direct booking people have the same messaging as the Airbnb people. Pretty cool, huh? Now I need that visual when you see about the cleaners. And so you got any other questions about that? Hospitable. You can look into that, and I'll help you set it up if you need it. And so what you have is you've got your account names, the property names, and I can click on any one of these, and I have their email and their cell phone.
That's good.
And
It captures that. Yeah.
And I do it all the time. So there's Jennifer right here. She was the one that booked it for 117 days yesterday. She's coming in on Sunday. And I said, so what are you in town for? She said, I'm with Amazon. We're an Amazon contractor. And so are others. All right, so I want to go to Turno and get out of sync with the rhythm here to show you why this is important with Turno. All right, used to be Turno B&B, and this costs basically $5 to $8 per cleaning to use the app. Okay, so let me show you what I look at down here. So here's my calendar. I put that up there today. So we've got, how I do it is they automatically schedule a cleaning at the end of each booking. So you can see that Hospitable is synced into this Turno app. So those are all the Hospitable bookings.
Right.
And so I have cleaners that I have a primary cleaner and then
Okay.
backup
Just
cleaners.
turned off the camera.
So what happens is when I set this up, I can assign who I want, and if they don't accept it, it automatically goes to the backup cleaners. Now you see how much easier that is to manage. You got a visual of what's needing to be done, and particularly if I had 8 or 10 properties, I couldn't function without this. Any questions about that?
No, that's good. But okay, so this is automated though, right? The turn-on is automated.
Yeah.
It syncs with your calendar.
Yep, yep. So I can send a message through the app to any of these people, and I do that. I make sure, for example, David's coming in tomorrow, and I've already sent him a message. All right, you coming? Just verifying it. And what's cool about this, this is where the institutionalizing happens. We have a checklist that we created that's got 86 points that David, when he comes to the property, he pulls out his app, it starts it. I get notified that he's there on the job.
86 points on one checklist for one property?
Yeah, and you can require pictures too.
Oh, can the pictures be uploaded through a system?
And it's part of this. And so
Yeah.
he goes and checks off everything. That's the systems part of it. And when he gets through, he's done everything on this. He says, I'm done. And then so immediately Turno sucks the money out of my account. And he gets paid by whom?
Turno?
Turno, not me.
What in each of these little boxes on this calendar is what's written in there? There's a bunch of writing in each one.
This is the gray ones. That's the
the green and
the reservation. And this is one is a cleaning and one is an inspection. So I want the day of check-in. I want the house to be inspected for supplies, and that's why they're paced. Now, for example, these folks up here extended their stay for 2 days. I didn't change the booking. I just made Alicia aware of it. She didn't need to go till Monday.
but the writing inside of those little boxes, is that your messaging to them?
No, it's not. It just tells what it is. So who it is and what they're doing. They're cleaning, and then you could have people setting up your TVs. All right, we're gonna go faster now, guys.
Okay.
All right, so we're on step 4. StayFi is a relatively new marketing, and so Airbnb doesn't give the host the guest email. I have to ask them, and that's part of my messaging. And most of the people send it to me, but some don't. And the reason is that Airbnb discourages giving your email to host. They tell them that. So I want to get a marketing for my brand, MississippiShortStayRentals.com. And so what this does, it's a device you buy. It costs between $200 and $300. You hook it up into your router, and it does so everybody that logs in at your house, they go to a splash page. It's kind of like a landing page for your phone, and they can get on the internet without giving me opt-in permission to market to them. But I ask them, would you like to be notified of some deals in the future? And they say yes or no, but they still get on. But if they don't opt in, then I don't capture their information. But if they do, then I can market to them. And so, for example, there are going to be 14 people out there at my Bay Park. There are 14 people that are workers. Now I have 14 people's email address. And so they text message and email, and they got template campaigns for you to do. And for example, if you wanted to have an upsell, and I do this automatically through Hospitable, I could do this. It says, If you want to extend your stay, just let me know and I'll see if we got an opening for you. Hospitable does an if-then proposal. They look at your calendar, and if you got a day before the next guest checks in, they send, if it's vacant, then they send it, and it says, if you'd like to stay an additional day, it'll be 50% less. And we get people every month doing that. It's an upsell. And so Hospitable has an upsell feature to it also. But this thing is going to be a game changer here because it doesn't cost that much to do it. And you can see the splash pages. So I get to promote all my properties off Airbnb. Whose brand am I building?
Your own. I use State By. Have been for several years now. It's good.
Okay, you're happy with it?
But yeah, I do. But the only thing is getting the marketing. You can capture all that stuff, but now you've got to market it, and that's where I'm
No,
at a
they've got
standstill.
they got new templates and new methods. That just you need to go back and review it.
Yeah.
All right, so number 5, I like these cameras. Steve, you're going to geek out on these, but they're solar and they cost 50 a piece. You buy from Amazon in a 2-pack. And what they do, what Blink charges you a fee to host to the Blink cameras. These guys hold your videos for 3 days, and it's free. And they've got I go for the zoom lens. They got a cheaper version. You can see it down there. It doesn't have that zoom, but it's good quality. Once you set it up, you're good to go.
What is it's not Blink though. It's a different brand.
No.
It's called
This is some Asian company.
Tejus. Okay.
All right. Any question about that?
Can you log in remotely and see what's going on? And does it
Yeah,
go
I can
through?
see it on I see it on my phone. I don't have to log in. I mean, I can look at it real time, but the problem is every time there's movement, you get notified. Now, how often do you want to be notified, really?
Yeah.
It drives you crazy dinging all the time.
Hmm.
But where it's going to be important, and I'm going to add this message in January, we don't allow pets. And so I'm going to tell them there's a security camera there for 2 purposes. One, to monitor whether there's a dog brought in that house. And if there is, it's going to be immediate termination. I'm serious about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Do those cameras swivel or turn?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can you turn them?
Oh, yeah.
No,
You can do all that.
but by hand. But can you do it remotely? Turn them.
Sure. William, what age do you think we're in?
Okay.
All right, now this is kind of cool. This is free. So with my StayFi marketing, I'm going to send them a speak pipe. And it looks something like this. And it says, we'd love to hear, please record it. I could send that to everybody in the house. If you got anything you need, just let me know. And you click it and they record it and it automatically sends it to me. It's another form of immediate feedback.
Wait. I'm confused. SpeakPipe. Is it an app, a device?
It's an app. It's not a device. And it allows you to message your guests and solicit their feedback. Instead of them stewing about something not working and then give me a bad review, I want to try to correct it while they're there.
Do you speak it? How do they hear it? Through their phone?
They start recording. It goes to them on however they're getting it. If it's an email or their phone, they'll get it. All right, so we're going to keep moving on. You can read all that later. You got it. So this is somebody else's list, but it's pretty good. Comprehensive checklist to give you a jump start on furnishing. And that's a good thing to do. Just look at that. Also, Zenith's down here. That's the name of the mattresses that we use. Check it out. So Price Labs, we've already talked about that. It sets prices for you, and you won't believe how much you can get more. So I'll just use that Bay Park. So I'm getting $450 a night, and that's about average, but there's some weekends that they know what the demand is. And they jack the prices up automatically to something like $800. Now, when you got an $800 a night stay that stays there for a week, that's a bunch of money.
Mhm.
So you don't know what's going on. You're not going to take the time to know when the demand is there. So that's why you'd use it. Any questions about that?
I use Price Labs too.
All right. So these are the smart locks, and it integrates with Hospitable, and so it sends them. You decide when they get the code and when they kill the code. So we usually send it, the day of check-in, they get a code a certain number of hours before check-in, and then a certain number of hours after they check out, it locks them out. Pretty cool, automatic. You don't have to touch it. Everything's done for you. And so through Hospitable integration with
Okay, so hospital manages the locks for you?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I'm paying quite a bit for managing locks right now. But it's messages the guest, and
Yeah.
does hospital collect their driver's license and all that too?
No, I bet they could. I bet they could. All right, so we've already gone over turnover, and I'm going to give you one more tool, and I use this almost every day. It's been out a couple of months. I read about it in the Wall Street Journal, notebooklm.com. So you know what? It allows you to create your favorite podcast on what your chosen topic is, and so it's very cool, free. And so what happens is you go there and you create a new notebook, and you can enter text by copying and pasting. So this is a promissory note. I would say you see that in there. I just copied a Word doc of a promissory note and put it in there, and you can do that for any Google Doc, any YouTube video that has transcription, and then you ask it to have that's a deep dive conversation generate button right here. See that?
Okay.
So when you generate it, it takes, depending on how much data you give them, it takes 10 minutes or so. And what you see is it gives you a WAV file. And that WAV file I've used multiple times in this presentation. And so it takes a minute to load. And what I did is I just took that WAV file and dropped it in my Drive, and created a share link, and that's what I put in there. But I use this. I tell you how I use it, and you'll tell me how you use it, because the more you use it, the more you find uses for it. Let me come back and show it to you again. So you got a real estate, Steve. You got attorney prepared real estate contract. You didn't prepare it; somebody else did, and you can put that in as Google Doc or PDF. And then what happens is there's two AI voices that are pulling in information from all sorts of spots, and it interprets. It's their view of the pros and cons of whatever it is. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing to use it. And I use it a lot. You could take, Steve, if you wanted to take a trust agreement and put it in there and have them talk about it, it would explain what it does. It creates your own podcast. And if you wanted to put your name in there, Steve Zahala as trustee of something, it would reference your name in the podcast.
Can you have it use your voice?
No, not yet. Other ones do that, but this is a free service. I use it for travel planning. I use it for documents. I've done things like I made an offer. It got accepted using a wraparound loan. I wanted ChatGPT to give me the ins and outs of wraparound financing, which they did, created. And I took that and pasted it in a Google Doc and made an AI generated audio podcast. And I put that in my proposal to them. So you want to know what a wraparound financing is? This is what chat says it is. And this is what AI tells you, and it's very helpful too. Very helpful.
Oh, it verbalizes it and puts it in a computerized voice.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. Oh. Is that a fee for that? I'm sure. Notebook LM?
Nope.
It's free right now?
Yep.
Cool. I have to try it. And
All right, guys, that's it.
that's good. I'm using almost all these tools, Walter, and the locks, the cameras, the Stay-By, I'm using Hostaway, which is very much like hospitality, which it does. Hospitality will probably do the same thing eventually. They keep adding and evolving. So, but
They
they
do.
asked for the driver's license, a copy of the driver's license, before they get their key, the digital lock key. And we used to try to do it by hand. Ask them by hand. Used to have a VA trying to. Oh my gosh, forget it. But now the automated system, we don't get any pushback.
No.
It's called online check-in, but they'll probably get that eventually, something like that.
All right, so
But,
Steve.
yeah.
Steve, you still there?
Yes,
All right.
I am.
So I don't know if you've started your Airbnb business. I know you've talked about it in the past, but if you master these tools, and let's say it takes you a week to master them.
Right.
It wouldn't take you a week, but let's say it does. You're in business in a week.
Yes.
Is that a quick learning curve?
I don't know any other business where you can be in business in a week.
As long as you got your beds made,
Well,
ready to go.
speaking of that, if you had going back to Turno, if you wanted your pillows aligned on your bed a certain way, you take a picture of it and you put it in the inspection report and say, I want it just like that, and I want you to take a picture of it when you get through with it.
If you want the ends of your toilet paper folded into
Right.
a origami smile, take a picture of it.
Right. That's good.
All right, guys, that's all I got. I hope it's an encouragement to you that it can be done. And
Mhm.
if anybody needs some hand holding, you know how to get me.
Thank you.